It's now time to spar with Justin LaBar. What's going on, Justin?
Coach.
Good morning. Happy Veterans Day. Thunder, you're looking good. Dave, you're sounding
Thank
good.
you. Justin, you made me a huge.
Hold on. Justin with the dig. Did you hear the dig from Justin? Thunder, you're looking good. Dave, you sound good.
Hell yeah.
That's a compliment, Dave. It's radio first. You need to sound good first.
Justin, you know what, dude? I got to be honest with you. I'm 52. All right, brother. Obviously, I'm not shaving. I'm doing a national radio show in sweatpants. You know what, brother? As long as
you have
I'm sounding
pants.
good, that's all that matters. Hey, at least I got pants.
Yeah, at least you got pants.
Unlike some people when they work out in their tighty whiteys.
Listen,
saw
everybody.
that.
Okay, I was
saw
gonna say
that.
something super inappropriate, and I'm not gonna say it. But I know you. I know y'all were like zooming on that thing, zooming on it, because I was, when I was doing deadlift, so I was, tightening that booty up. Somebody said, "Turn around, Thunder. We want to see that thing." They said, "Turn around and we want to see that thing." And I'm like, nah, that's what you get. You get a picture of my real picture of me looking raggedy the next day. See?
Well, I mean, Thunder, it's a little bit different when I see it because I try to avoid those pictures because I look at you more like a sister than anything else. It's kind of like there's certain pictures I look at and I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
I was standing in line at Primo's Hoagie just trying to order my 9-inch, and I'm scrolling, and I'm like, whoa, I got people around me. Like, what are you looking at, dude?
That's, yeah.
Justin, how are you?
I'm just trying to get my Big T Diablo Hoagie, and I got Thunder in her underwear here. I'm good.
You get a El Diablo and a Dr. Pepper, Justin?
Hell yeah.
Is that what you're going for? All right, good man. So a lot to get into, Justin. Obviously, before we spoke to you last was before what we saw last weekend in Saudi. Up and down, start to finish. What did you think of what we saw last weekend at Crown Jewel?
I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, it was probably when it was all said and done, it probably was on the lower end of overall the Saudi shows in terms of headlines to take away. I mean, obviously, obviously Logan Paul becoming champion, that was.
But Justin, we call that. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was a predictable show, and predictable is not always bad as long as it's logical. I thought it was a predictable show. Again, it was a show, as we talked about. They didn't have to pull in a bunch of part-timers or one-offs from Hall of Famers. It was what it was. It did advance some stories, and that's what I think is most important, because it is annoying, and we've seen it in the past years of those Saudi shows when it's like you're on a road of storylines, you're on a road with the destination like Survivor Series coming up or something, and the Saudi show is like a just complete detour pit stop that has no no logic on the road. But this one kind of everything flowed through it, and we continue on to Survivor Series.
I think it is important because it wasn't a thrown away show, because like there's been so many times and where we're watching like going into like another big pay-per-view that is just like matches just to have matches, and that's what has happened in, I don't know, ever since they started running this show. And as an spectator, I actually will be like, all right, I'm gonna watch Raw and SmackDown this week because this is what happened. These are like the highlights for me, and it's not like this thing. Hey, hueva, like what did I spend 3 hours of my life, And I think this is important for fans when shows are booked like that, especially if you're paying for a show that is worth something, that is gonna lead into something. As a fan, if I'm gonna put some money in there, I mean, I want to say I want to demand that, but it's important that we get a little respect on that. So I'm kind of glad that this was not a thrown away show and actually was leading into something else for the future.
And shout out to the fans over there. When they first started doing these shows in Saudi Arabia, it felt like a very, the audience did not seem as engaged. I don't know what the process was of who got tickets and where and status and class and whatever, but whatever changes have been made, whether it's on the WWE side, the Saudi Arabian government helping put this together, or both, the fans, especially this past show, just so engaged, just having fun. It was so. I mean, they're loud. They were a good crowd. So just shout out to the fans in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
And how about, Justin, that in Saudi we got CM Punk chants? Like
Yes.
you talk about fans buying into what's going on in the world of pro wrestling. Probably the last thing I thought I was going to hear was CM Punk chants.
Why? He's everywhere. Like every time I open my Google stuff to look for something, Phil is there all the time. And I can't even imagine over there. I mean, everybody has access to their phone and he is everywhere. He's a talk of the world at this point. So it's pretty crazy. Pretty freaking crazy.
Well, I mean, listen, we're going to find out some things over the next couple of weeks here when it comes to CM Punk. Because even he's kind of trolling fans as well. He's doing commentating for MMA, and they're dropping kind of WWE hints and TNA hints, Justin. So I feel like we're going to maybe not have a definitive answer, but at least understand things a little bit more once we get to Survivor Series in Chicago, don't you think?
I don't know, because here's the thing. Even if we get through Survivor Series and he doesn't show up there in Chicago, Royal Rumble, that train's coming a few months later. So the speculation is going to continue. It's going to continue inevitably. All I can say is this, is that obviously I don't know. My opinion is I don't think he's coming back in Survivor Series. I don't think he is. But I will say this, is that if he's definitely not, I just WWE, hopefully they know better. Don't make any Survivor Series match where there is a mystery partner or there's anything because you're just but
you're giving it away.
Well, no, because no, because you're setting yourself up.
Yeah,
you're setting yourself up for everybody's gonna go, oh my God, it's Punk, and then if it's not Punk, so just I'm saying if WWE does not have Punk, if they do not, make sure you don't have any Survivor Series match where you have any kind of like tune in to see who it is. That ain't gonna go well.
You're absolutely right, because if there's any little bit of a slight opening where people might think he's going to make an appearance, they're going to grab that, especially in Chicago, because I'm interested if we get CM Punk chance in Chicago, no matter what happens at Survivor Series. So that's something
we are.
We'll have I'm sure
we are.
Well, and I bring it up because Dave, we know now, the war, at least the men's War Games match, as we know as it now, is a 4-on-4 situation that Adam Pearce so enthusiastically announced, which I love. Shout out to Adam Pearce. It's 4-on-4, and a lot of times you get 5-on-5. So like, I've seen fan speculation, obviously Drew McIntyre, he's that wild card of like, where is he at? And Rhea Ripley's been kind of, chatting with him. So I've seen speculation of what if Drew gets added to the heel side with Judgment Day, whether that means you need another baby face. And so that's when I start going, all right, make sure you announce who the baby face is before we get to Survivor Series, because otherwise, whoever it actually is, Randy Orton, anybody you can think of and dream of who could be, it's going to get drowned out by people expecting CM Punk.
One thing I did yesterday, Justin, on our show is I read your tweet that you put out right after AEW Dynamite went off the air, and that was about Keith Lee and Samoa Joe. And what you wrote is exactly what I was thinking. So, Justin, if you can, thumbnail exactly what that tweet was for our Busted Open Nation.
Yeah, it's a tweet that lasted 24 hours. I didn't realize that when I hit send that it was gonna, it's funny. Look, no, it's this. And let me also start off by saying, I started out by talking about Keith Lee, but the tweet is about the title, about the ROH TV title. I'm not one way or the other with Keith Lee in terms of like, the tweet was, imagine being Keith Lee, who hasn't had a match on Dynamite in how many moon cycles. And then you get a match against Samoa Joe, who, as the graphic tells us and commentary reminds us, the longest reigning Ring of Honor TV champion ever. Okay, that's not nothing, right? And they have a competitive match. Keith Lee gets choked out, finish. So Joe fought hard, fought the big man Keith Lee to defend said title, and then 30 seconds later decides said title that he just fought for isn't worthwhile. It's going to distract him from his focus. Toss it aside. And now look, he wants to go focus on the AEW World title. I get that. I agree with the perception. The AEW World title is more important and prestigious than the ROH TV title. But it's a lack of logic. Pro wrestling is all about everybody's fighting to get a title. Everybody's fighting and selling to get a title, and to just discard the title. So my anger is at the booking situation here, to just discard the title. Why not drop it to Keith Lee? Or if you don't want it to be Keith Lee, then put him in a match with somebody else. Or if you don't want Joe getting pinned before he's getting ready to go after the AEW World title, make it a 3-way match so that way he loses it, doesn't get pinned. Or how about this? Hold on to the damn thing, because the guy that he's going after, MJF, also holds AEW and Ring of Honor titles. So why the discarding of a title just to toss it aside? If you want to just tell me that we can all piss on the title, just say those words. Because that's what this came off as. And so it's not a matter of, oh, I've had people say, oh, well, Keith Lee hasn't been on, so why would he get the title? Okay, fine. Take Keith Lee out of it. Put somebody else in there that you do think's worthy, that has been on TV, that has been getting built up. The decision to not give the rub and elevate somebody else, and just to discard the title and to vacating titles is for when you're suspended or for when you're injured.
And Justin, I think what you just said is 100% correct, because I don't know if I would go with Samoa Joe losing that title, because you're building him up for a world championship title match with MJF. But why don't you just have him continue to be your ROH TV champion? Because like you just said, MJF holds the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. So I actually think that makes that match a little bit more compelling, that both men not only hold Ring of Honor gold, but you're going after that AEW championship. I find that a little bit more compelling, a little bit more interesting to me, because now, listen, it's very hard to build up Ring of Honor as it is. But after you do something like that, I mean, whoever holds this Ring of Honor TV championship next, I really don't think it means absolutely anything, because here's a guy that's going after the championship, and he looks at that Ring of Honor TV title as more of something that's a little bit of an annoyance than something that he should be thriving to try to retain. It's a very interesting booking decision, to say the least.
And then the people that piss me off are the people that then reply to me and are like, and they basically word for word troll splain. You've heard of mansplain? I'm calling it troll splain. Try to troll splain his. Wow, he said that he wants to focus on MJF. I heard him. Just because you say something over and over doesn't speak it into truth. Just because you tell me that the earth's flat doesn't mean the earth's flat. Don't just regurgitate. I heard.
Justin,
It doesn't make sense.
I hear that you're very upset about this decision. As a wrestling fan, what do you feel that for you? What hit the nerve the most for you on this specific thing?
The disregard of a title, the pissing away the perception of a title that, again, oh, by the way, I just sat and watched a match between two guys slapping meat, and they're selling all this, and that it's pro wrestling's built around titles and try to acquire and win titles. And again, I understand you. Oh, okay, I just defended this title, but now I'm going to put my focus. I get that. But make a different decision. Make a different decision. Have them hold on to it. Have them drop it. Vacating is for when you are truly stuck in a corner because of real life events, because of suspension or injury. You vacate. You don't go out there and premeditate a vacation in this situation. That just makes no sense. Why? Because now that they want to book a tournament, what are they going to do? We're going to book a tournament? Like what? I
could care less, Justin. If they booked a tournament to see who the next champion is, I could care less who that next champion is. I could care less.
And every match every match of that tournament, I will not be tuned into, because I don't care. I don't care. I got a title over there. That was gifted to me, worth more than that title right now. It's your longest reigning. It's not like the guy just got it by accident because there was a. It's not like it's like a situation where there's an injury and we had to change the finish or something like that. The guy's had it for over 500 days. Imagine I mean, it's a bit confusing. Roman's got 2 titles. They've kind of blurred the lines, and there's questions there of which title and which lineage, blah 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 blah. But imagine if Roman goes, just that's a title, too much weight on my shoulder. It just makes no sense. Nobody would do it. Even the 24/7 title. Every title is supposed to mean something. I don't understand. I don't understand the lack of respect and the lack of logic for using a title.
So do you think now that this happened, like those 500 days mean nothing?
I mean, it's always going to be there whenever somebody wants to go through record books, and it's always going to be there. Like, oh yeah, well, yeah, that 500 days, and then it ended with a fart. I'm just discarding it.
And as
I actually,
yes, David, go ahead.
I actually think they should erase it because you gave up that championship. It's not like you lost that championship, or like Justin said, you had to give up that championship because of injury. You made the conscious choice to say, you know what, this championship means absolutely nothing to me. It's so much lesser than that world championship that, you know what, I'm going to throw it to the side. They should erase that entire title reign because he gave up on it. And, you know, Thunder, you asked Justin that question, which was a good one and a great answer from Justin about what bothered him the most. What bothers me the most is I'm a Ring of Honor fan. I loved Ring of Honor. I've said it on this show many times. Ring of Honor kept me a fan in 2002 when things were going astray in the world of pro wrestling. ECW was gone. WCW was gone. Ring of Honor filled that void for me. And there's so much history behind that brand of Ring of Honor. Like, as a fan of Ring of Honor, and Samoa Joe, by the way, I feel is on that Mount Rushmore of Ring of Honor wrestlers. He's there. He's one of the greats to come out of that brand. I feel offended as a Ring of Honor fan, what he did with that championship title.
And I was going to ask you that to you two. How do you think this booking decision or this decision, whatever it was, is going to affect Samoa Joe's legacy?
I don't think it's going to affect me. I don't think it's going to affect Joe's legacy. Because at the end of the day, I think as fans, we know, like, okay, like, you know, there's a script, there's a story, there's a director, Joe, what's going on. So I don't think it. This is not on Samoa Joe. This is not on Keith Lee. This is that may be this is on the booking decision. I do think to kind of what you're asking, though, Thunder, and to Dave's point, I do think this almost seems like this would almost be a storyline that would be really fun in reverse. If somebody else, if say some newcomer, you know, who'd only been in the business for the last 5 or 10 years, who was not in the original Ring of Honor, let's say, if they had been holding this ROH TV title and then they were trying to be disrespectful of the title, and then Samoa Joe, an ROH legend, an ROH Mount Rushmore, came in and say, you're not going to disrespect the brand that I blood, sweat, and tear to put on the map. That would be a story. But this is just ass backwards.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great, you know what, Justin, you're 100% right. Because it should be the other way. Because I remember going to Basketball City and Edison, New Jersey, and the Manhattan Center and everything, seeing Samoa Joe in a Ring of Honor ring. And now here he is taking a championship and saying, this is a distraction. This is meaningless to me. I'm giving up because all I care about and all I'm focused on is the AEW World Championship. You could have continued this story and still have him keep that Ring of Honor TV title. As a matter of fact, that would elevate the Ring of Honor TV title, because if he does eventually beat MJF, then not only is your AEW World Champion, he's your Ring of Honor TV Champion. What does that do for the Ring of Honor brand and that TV championship? That says, hey, man, this is the best in this company, and he's holding Ring of Honor gold. It elevates the entire brand.